The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Warning. The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming. Unlike my regular videos, where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, of course, he has been sleeping all this time until the second I go live, and now he's awake and ready to face the world. So the warning still stands. Oh, goodness. Okay, hold on there. Hold on, and poof, there we are. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. So here we are again on there, see, there you go. See, he woke up just for you guys. You know? So here we are on another Wednesday. Hold on, let me Yes, that was the vibe I was going for. Yes, it was always the vibe I was going for. But yeah, I changed up the music a little bit. So, but yes, that's exactly. And yes, and hello, John, and hello, Ephraim. Thank you. And oh, here's Allison too. Thank you. Hello. So, yeah. Just I don't know. It's like a lot going on, nothing going on at the same time. It's been one of those days. But I guess yeah. So I've already shared. It's like yes. So Ephraim, John, and Allison are in the chat right now. James just joined us. Hello, James. Welcome. And yes, and I do see you, the 6 people who are watching me from regions beyond. Thank you so much. If you are joining us from Facebook, if you are joining if you're joining me on Twitter, if you're joining me from Twitch, well, if you're joining me from Twitch, stay on Twitch. You don't need to come over here. Because I can see your comments just fine. But if you're joining me from Facebook, if you're joining me from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join my sexy people in the chat, my cheeky little monkeys in the chat. Facebook tends to act up a little bit, and Twitter doesn't even allow you to chat at all. Yeah, but Twitch does. So if you're on Twitch, that's good. That's fine. You're okay. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday. Another currently, I don't want to say dreary, because it's just that the sun keeps going down earlier and earlier, as much as it annoys me. So for everybody joining me. Oh my goodness, you're in Machu Picchu. Wow, very nice. I'm international. Thank you. So so for everyone just joining, and for everybody, if you're not familiar with this, with the shoe, it's like hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter early 2023 with Tall Tales The Peacekeepers, which is a self-contained story arc in 1 volume. So that will be returning to Kickstarter in, like I said, in early 2023. And I am currently known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which if you didn't, if you joined us last Friday, we closed out the campaign on Kickstarter. Thank you so much for everybody who supported the issue 5 campaign. We will be returning to Kickstarter with issue 6 in probably late spring 2023. Haven't decided yet, but definitely in the spring. So thank you so much for everybody who supported it, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. And I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday on the Indie Comics Network, which is also where I am simulcasting this show as well. So make sure that you join us on Friday for an hour-long discussion of whatever we feel like talking about, but it will most likely always be like art related, or comics related. So if you're into that type of thing. And also in the meantime, you can read both my comics, both Eagle Raven and Tall Tales, at my websites, Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So, so make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that you get notified every time we go live with anything. So there you have it. Yes. Oh, yes, Larry, the bird is up just for you. Oh my goodness. Kevin John, master Disney artist Kevin John, joining us all the way from the Sunshine State. No, it was the Sunshine. No, the Golden. No, Sunshine State, Florida. Joining us from California. It's just easier if I say the state. Thank you so much, Kevin John, for joining me. I am completely honored having you here. I hope I'm not too weird for you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It's always an honor to have you around. Thank you so much. So yes. Now I'm all self-conscious. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Yes, we are, sir. Yes, we are. We are all weird and we're proud of it because, in the end, it's our weirdness that's going to that's going to overcome this plague of AI nonsense that we're seeing right now. So thank you so much. And Patrick, hello, Patrick. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I am going to bring something, that's for sure. So I'm still, again, not to be boring, I'm still getting used to my OBS setup here. So I got way too much going on my screen right now. But yeah, so a little housekeeping. So like I said, we closed out, we as in me, closed out, well, me and Nita, actually, we closed out Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn on Kickstarter on Friday. And like I said, I just want to thank everybody, the 173 people who supported the campaign. Thank you so much. We were just one shy of breaking my record. But you know what? I'm really good with it. It's the campaign. I got at least the same amount of people to pledge to issue 5 as I did for issue 4. So thank you so much. I mean, what that tells me is that everybody's coming back, which I really do appreciate. I'm really happy that you're enjoying my work and enjoying my comics. And even though it's like, and even though it's obvious that a lot of you are waiting for the volume 2 trade, which is going to be coming out probably like very early 2024, depending on how my schedule works out. Because honestly, if I can figure to get it out earlier, I will. But I'm trying to keep a more chill schedule with 2023. There's still a lot of campaigns happening, but it's like, I'm trying to keep it less stressful than what it's been in these past 2 years. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, wow, indeed. So like I said, thank you everybody for supporting the campaign. I am currently putting together all the files. And I'm just waiting for the last of I guess the accounts to go through. There's certain people who I guess they need to update their credit card information or whatnot. So Kickstarter usually bothers you for a week. So that you kind of get your payments together and whatnot. And then on Friday I'm going to do a final count, probably late Thursday, so I can send out the files on Friday. I'm going to do a final count for how many books and everything that I need, and send all the files out on Friday. The thing is, one of the things though that I just want to make an announcement about. So there was a short story that I was going to add to the issue 5 comic. If we had made it to 9,500. Now we were short. We didn't make it to 9,500, but like I said, it's like I was probably being over ambitious on this campaign based on how volume 1 performed. It completely threw off my thought process on it, on the campaigns. So, and the thing is, I was really looking forward to printing this story in the issue, but of course we didn't make it to that goal. So we didn't get the extra 12 pages to be put in issue 5. So you know what? As thank you for everybody supporting the campaign, I will be sending out a PDF of that story for everybody anyway. So we didn't make the physical goal of getting the short story printed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it out to everybody as a PDF. Thank you for supporting the campaign. For those of you who don't know, it's like along with the main storyline for Eagle Raven, which is 15 issues. I have all these little side stories that are based on kind of like these random vignettes that I wrote, that it's like that they didn't quite fit into the main storyline, but I think that they were kind of cute on their own, and they actually kind of help with the character development somewhat. It's for Eagle Raven and all her friends, all the characters around her. But if I had put them in the main storyline, it would have a kind of like bogged down everything. It's like with comics, you kind of like, you got to be a little bit punchier, with the storyline. So what I decided instead is to do these stories separately. And then eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect them all into a separate trade paperback called Tales from the Outer Kingdoms. And it's going to be kind of like a supplement trade to Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, so that you kind of get all these little stories. But in the meantime, I thought that it would have been cool to like use them as stretch goals and add them to, Kickstarter as Kickstarter exclusives. But like I said, we didn't make it on this campaign. So like I said, keep an eye out when I start sending out surveys and everything, because I will be adding that PDF. Everybody on the campaign who supported the campaign is going to get it. It's a PDF, and I think that you guys will enjoy the story, especially Joe, who who's who especially loves my little stories. So thank you so much. So as you can see on the table right here, what we have is kind of a continuation of what we had from last week. This is another page from Tall Tales Tears of the Mother, which is again my furry comic, my furry Lord of the Rings adventure. And last week, I was showing all of you how I was kind of pushing my way through getting these pages done. And instead of, like feeling like I was forcing myself to get these pages done, what I was going to do, I was going to try to like remove that aspect of it and just do the easiest panels possible, the easiest panels first, and then work my way to the more complicated panels. Just to kind of like force myself, like what I'm kind of doing is like kind of creatively boxing myself, so that, okay, so it's like when I finally get to those really, really obnoxious, why did I draw so many characters in this panels? um, they'll be the last things I'm doing. So it's like, oh, well, if I just finish, it's like when I finish these complicated panels, the book is done. So that was kind of the thought process that I brought up on last week's episode. And so we're going to be continuing that today. So again, it's like this is Tears of the Mother, issue 6. This is page 21. I have on the table. We'll get a closer look at it in a couple of minutes when I get everything switched over to the desk. And the hope is, well, the goal, because this is one of the books that I'm going to be releasing in 2023. So I'm 6 pages. Is it 6 pages? Let me look at my to-do list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 5 pages left to finish this issue. So I can have, at least this one is just black and white, so I don't have to worry about getting it flatted. So once it's done, all I have to do is just finish lettering it, and the book is good to go. I have a cover for it and everything. It's just that I was a little all over the place with this one. I mean, honestly, I don't want to say I made the mistake of pausing it to get issue 1 of Ego Raven done, which is now up to issue 6. Oops. But I think if I had worked my schedule a little bit more optimally, I should have finished this issue a while ago, so that I'm not worried about it now. But you know what? Look, here, schedules being the thing that they are, here we are. Here we are, and thank you, Kevin John. Thank you so much. And yes, sir, if anyone is busy, it's you. So thank you so much for dropping by. Like I said, it's an honor, and you are always welcome in my chat any day. Thank you so much. So we'll just stay with the other master, John Celestri. Hello, John. Yes. The other animation master in the chat, so thank you. And it's like, it's like, he's talking to Allison, getting her degrees. So that's it's like I think I must have missed something, but and Efrain is just saying, I just finished making a Batman killing Joker. What, like a print or a poster for something? I mean, yeah, we're all trying to keep busy here, and yes, hoping to do 2 comics next year. Yeah, it's like Godspeed. It's it's always, it's the grind. It really is, and that's kind of the thing that I want to talk about today before I transfer over to the art table. And by the way, only because Nita's in the background watching the VIP room. If you see any posts in Spanish, that's my aunt from Spain. So it's just so you know. So don't put anybody in the timeout. That's because they're writing in Spanish. That's one of my aunts in Spain. So my mother was telling me how well, it's like, I don't know if it would be an aunt or a cousin. I'm not sure, because it's my mother's cousin, Lolene. And she said that she was chatting, that she was typing up. I don't know if she was in the comments or in the chat, and she was afraid that I wasn't seeing them. So if you like I said, if you see anything in Spanish in the chat, give me it's like I'll make sure, I'll tell you if it's Lolene or not. So oh, it's like, sorry, Efrain, I do not. I do not speak Spanish. I am Spanish. I was born in Spain. I was born in Valencia. Um, but I do not speak Spanish. Unfortunately, when we came to the United States, it was during a time where the trend was not to have your children be bilingual, because it was considered um, a step back in development. That's like, oh, you're going to confuse, because what's funny is like, I thought it was something personal to me. And the more people, I spoke to several people around that time, who also around that time, and they had the same problem. They said that their parents were told, do not, choose a language and stick to it. It's like, do not make your child bilingual. It'll just confuse them. So that, it seemed that was a thing at the time. So yes, I do not know. Yes, I unfortunately, although I understand it somewhat, but don't ask me for instructions in Spanish. Oh, you too, right? So you're either, so depending on which conversation we're following in the chat, Jay Solano is talking about how he's Spanish but doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Spanish, or he's also getting an astrophysics degree. Which is what Allison is doing. Yeah, I know, right? It's like I said, I thought it was just an individual thing, but it's like, no, this was really common back then, So, but so it's so that's the thing. So that's what's going on. A little side thing here. So yeah, so as I mentioned to Kevin John, being weird is going to be the way that we actually kind of like step above this whole AI thing that's happening right now. And it's like, I don't want to get into too deep of a conversation about AI, because I'm kind of saving all that vitriol for House of Bob. And but the thing is, though, is that there's certain conversations that are inadvertently being had because of this. And and I want, and the thing is, though, and it is kind of bothersome to me, in probably a little bit more than the AI thing, because honestly, this was something that's probably been percolating before the whole AI thing. And with this whole emergence, this whole explosion, however, it's like, look, look, all I can say about AI, it's like, at this point, because like I said, the conversation exhausts me and I'm saving it. But this is pretty much, it's like, look, use it, don't use it. At this point, it doesn't matter, because the genie's out of the bottle. But one thing's for sure, though, whether it's ethically sourced or not, I swear to God, it's like AI is like the factory farming of the creative field. I swear to God, it's literally like I'm talking about a slaughterhouse. It is the slaughterhouse of art. It's like where all these creative bodies are just completely processed into creative ground beef, and like I said, the genie's out of the bottle for that. And it doesn't matter whether it's like grass-fed artists or not. If you're looking to have a career in commercial art, that noose is tightening around your neck. I mean, it's like, that's, and I personally don't know how to stop that. But like I said, we can go more into detail on House of Bob later. It's like, so the thing that I was seeing, the thing that I was seeing in a lot of these conversations is, it's like artists, like aspiring artists, like the idea that this whole thing is going to kill aspiring artists. And there was like a lot of people that I was seeing going, it's like, oh, what's the point if AI can, if someone can do like this completely over rendered hot mess of a piece in seconds. It's like, and people will, and studios are going to use that, and and publishers and whatnot. It's like, what's the point? And there was like this very odd sense of despair over it. And not necessarily from just aspiring artists. It's just it's like there was like kind of, it's kind of it's like, what, it kind of like way too many people online are really they were really determined to make this, oh, what's the phrase? I just had it. It's on the tip of my tongue. This learned helplessness as a personality. Way too many people online have really absorbed learned helplessness as a personality trait. And I'm kind of on two minds of that. I mean, it's like there was a tweet that I saw of somebody literally despairing. It's like, oh, what's the point of practicing if an AI can do this better than I can now? What's the point? And on one hand, I want to say your despair is the point. That it's like, the fact that you still want to do this and you want to push through that feeling, is the point. It's like that's what separates you from the AI. It's your this emotional upheaval that we all have about our art. It's like it's the messiness of being human doing art. That's and still pushing through and wanting to create. That's the point of doing art. And also the asshole side of me is like going, then perish. It's like, if you're going to be sitting in your learned helplessness and going, what's the point? What's the point? I might as well quit. Then, like I said, the asshole side of me says, then just quit. Because it's like, if that's your personal answer to what's going on, then maybe you had nothing to add. You have nothing to add to it. And it's like, it's very gross, and it's like, yes, it's like, it's very gross to feel that way, but it's like, I really do think, I mean, that this is kind of like, for this part, this is how strongly I feel about, this is the time where we have to latch on to our humanity even more in order to create, and to just give it up because some amoral tech bros wanted to do the easy part, and scrape our artwork to be able to do that. I mean, the technology may be inevitable, but the thing is, though, is that we are still valuable as humans doing artwork, as humans. I mean, there's a couple of things that I want to show. So this one was a tweet that I saw that was kind of part of me thinking about this. And the dream of AI art is the chance to win the prestige and accolades that can come with creation, while avoiding the vulnerability inherent in sharing something you are proud to have made with your labor and your heart. A godsend for lazy and curious cowards. And then another one is, as an artist, I can safely say that AI completely ruins the point of making art. The difference between an artist and not an artist isn't born skill. It is the passion to learn the skills. AI artists don't have that passion and just try to skip to the end. And that's the thing. And that it's like, so in the end, it's like, we have to all, as creative people, as artists, it's like, in this field, that it's like, look, it's like, me personally, I'm not worried one iota about being replaced by an AI. Kevin John, I know for a fact, is not worried. He doesn't get the work that he does because he's worried he's going to get replaced by an AI. Disney doesn't want an AI version of Kevin John. They want Kevin John. I mean, it's like, Lucas, same thing. They don't want an AI facsimile of Kevin John. They want Kevin John. It's like, so, with me, the 173 people who supported my Kickstarter, you guys don't want an AI facsimile of what I do. You want what I do. Just like I don't want, all my favorite artists, it's like Arthur Adams, Neil Adams, Mike Grell, and, Wendy Peeney. It's like, I don't want AI facsimiles of these people. It's like, I want the artwork that they made. That's why we collect art books. Right. I mean, it's like, that's why we collect things. That's why we collect the comics that we do, the books that we do. It's why we support the Kickstarters that we do. It's why we buy the art prints that we do. It's like, there's a certain humanness to it that, and hey, an AI isn't creating anything. It's just scraping together bits and pieces of all of our artwork and pretending that it's creating something. It's just pumping out an algorithm. It might as well, it's just ones and zeros to it, and it is what we are uniquely is what's going to get us over. I've always spoken about this from the beginning, that we have to outhuman the AI. And the more human our artwork is, the more passion we put into it, the more, it's like the more we struggle. It's like the name, the title that I'm going here, it's like, is the struggle worth it? Is the learning worth it? It's like, it's not the point that the AI can shit out these grotesqueries in seconds. That's not the point. It's like, the point is that we push through the haze of our constantly churning emotional states to learn how to do these things. It's like, we learn from each other. We learn from, from everywhere. Our entire surrounding is inspiration, and that's the thing. What the AI does is not inspiration. It's like me looking around my room and I take inspiration from my environment, and turn it into something. And here's the thing, unlike the AI, a lot of times I fail at what I'm trying to convey. Like, that whole feeling where it's like, you have this image in your head, and it's like, no matter what you do, you can't seem to quite get it on paper. Here's the thing, a computer figuring it out for you is not the point, because I've told Nita this, several times, that it's like, especially in the last 2 years, it's like, I've been really feeling like my artwork has been making these leaps and bounds, these complete jumps that has been like thrilling to me. It's like that there's something about, having to work so in such a concentrated amount of time in the 2 years since the lockdown happened, that I've been seeing my artwork make jumps that I haven't really seen in like the past years before that. you know? And it became a high that I'm chasing. you know, it really did. That it's like, holy shit, this, like, something clicked, like these rules clicked, something clicked, and it's like, and now I'm able to do it. Now it's like, I'm not afraid. I'm not as afraid of having to do my work, because this finally clicked. Maybe it didn't click like it turned me into Arthur Adams, but it clicked that I became a better version of myself, and that's the high that I'm chasing, that it's like, it's like, okay, it's like, okay, if I could use the AI to make all these scenes and whatnot, and make, just poop out stuff, it's like, what am I getting out of that? I'm not getting anything out of that. It's like, okay, I could trace it's like, what? It's like I can take photo references, and then it's like I put it on my light box and I try to kind of like trace them out to try to figure, it's like, okay, what makes this work? You see, that's the thing. It's the whole skipping to the end part, because, like, yeah, okay, we can have an AI do something for us. But what do we learn from that? It's like, in the end, it's like, as creative people, we have to think, we have to really sit down and think as to, when shit comes to Shinola, why do we do this? Why are we even doing this? Because it's like, it's like, we're not fixing toilets here. I mean, it's like, but the thing is that before there was indoor plumbing, there was fire and there was art. Like, even the wheel came after. I mean, when your ancestors were sitting around a fire trying to keep a saber-toothed tiger from eating their children, right? They had the fire and they were doing art on the cave walls. So art is our legacy. That is literally our historic legacy. And it kind of reminds me of the conversation that I had when Disney, that I had with you guys, when Disney was wanting to trademark Loki and Thor and Norse mythology in general, and just, the nonsense that they were trying to do, and trying to trademark Day of the Dead and all that, trying to trademark culture, and how mythology is it's our cultural birthright, and we have to fight back every chance a corporation tries to make it their thing, tries to take what is our birthright and turn it into something that only they control. And this is what's happening again. It's like, you have these companies who are making these programs, who are making these apps, and they are trying to wrest control of our legacy, of our creative legacy, our birthright. Art is our birthright. And they're trying to take that away. And the thing is, and they're doing it in a guise of, we're democratizing art, when what they're really doing is diluting the pool. And what I mean by that is, it's the same way where everything is about STEM. You got to learn STEM, STEM, STEM. Got to teach your kids STEM, teach your kids to code, teach your kids, the hard, the tech sciences and whatnot. If you want to survive or something, they're not doing that because there's a shortage of people in STEM. There is absolutely not a shortage of people in STEM. What it is that there's a shortage of people in STEM who will do the shit cheap. And by flooding education with this idea that STEM, 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 they are then in turn flooding a market that they want to destroy wages in. And this is the exact same thing they're trying to do with art, because I've spoken about this in my video for Comic Blast, because the sentiment was exactly the same. If any asshole can do what you do, what makes it special enough to pay you premium for it? So that's what the attempt is, that they're doing along with this. But again, I'm having a conversation that I didn't really want to get into. But to turn it back to my original point, though. So again, what makes you special? And it's like, your humanity makes it special. The emotional state you put into your artwork is special. It's like your passion is special. Your weirdness is special. Your horniness is special. And that's what makes artwork stand out. That's what make people go, why do I really like that? Because in the end, it's like, certain things, it's like because in the end, it's like we're connected to people, not technology. That there's, so we have to really dig deep and understand what it is that we're doing this for. Why am I doing these comics? It's like, why am I, raising, why am I, struggling to raise $5,000 on Kickstarter? When there are people who are pandering to the mob, making, making like 5 figures, 6 figures, because, like John said, well, it's like, John Celestri, where's his comment, it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, as an artist, I have unique stories to tell. No hack pushing buttons can do that. Right. Exactly. So it's like, it's like there are people hacking out comics without AI. They're just following a checklist. Like I said, they're pandering to the mob and they're making this money. So even without taking out the whole AI thing, right? Why bother? It's because we have a story to tell. It's because we have these worlds to create. It's because that we have this thing that's a compulsion that we have to do. And we have to do it our way. It's like, because it's like, if I have to pander to a crowd, look, I'll just go work at a print shop. I'll just go back to working, running a Xerox machine. If I have to pander, for money, it's like, look, I'll just, there are easier ways to make money. But if I want to tell a story the way I want to tell it, then this is what I have to do. And it's like, and I have to grind and I have to hustle and I have to, really like, not only in marketing, but, like with the campaigns, with the additional training that I have to do to push my artwork to the next level, and that's what makes my book stand out. It's like, is it buried by the algorithm? Is it buried by a campaign making $250,000? Yeah, sure. Of course. I mean, but the thing is, though, is that I can say that people read my books, that I am proud of the books that people are reading from me when they buy my book, what they're reading. And, and it's like, yeah, it's a slow grind. But honestly, it's like, if I could skip to the ending, what would be the point of that? It's like, it's like, I always, I always say that, success never tells you anything, but failure always leaves a roadmap. And it's kind of the same thing here. The hard work gives you a roadmap. The hard work shows you a roadmap. If you just jump, to the end, okay, then all you're more concerned about is making literal content. It might as well just be spaghetti sauce, and getting, all these likes on Instagram for posting this trash. I mean, that's really all you care about, because it can't be for the money, because ain't nobody paying you for your keyword jockey shit. Because you know why? The 14-year-old, the 14-year-old niece of their CEO can do it. It's like the intern, the guy working, the mailroom as an intern, he could do it. So it's definitely not for the money, but at the same time, these people are fighting for kudos and accolades that they're never going to get. We are never going to see you as you are never going to be our peer because you didn't put in the work. It's like, because there is nothing that I can learn from you. You see, and that's the thing too. Every artist that I know, every writer that I know, I learned from, and they learned from me. It's like, what am I going to learn from a guy who, I don't know, he's working, he's typing in keywords on a glorified Google? What do I learn from that? And no, there's still plenty, Nita. There's still plenty to talk about, because, like I said, the real meat and potatoes. I'm really going to dig in on that. It's like, when I have to reread Umberto Eco's Fascism for me to make my point on House of Bob. Yeah, the big one's coming. The big one's coming. So, okay. So, I think I've spoken enough on, face value, face to face. I know you guys want to see me actually doing some inking. So let me just, kind of leave you with a couple of things before I transition over. So, here's a quote from Kurt Vonnegut, where he was talking, where he says, "When I was 15, I spent a month working on an archaeological dig. One of the archaeologists asked those kinds of getting to know you questions you ask young people. Do you play sports? What's your favorite subject?" And I told him, "No, I don't play any sports. I do theater. I'm in choir. I play the violin and piano. I used to take art classes." And he went, "That's amazing." And I said, "But I'm not good at any of them." And he said something then that I will never forget, and which absolutely blew my mind. "I don't think being good at things is the point of doing them. I think you've got to do all these I think you've got all these wonderful experiences with different skills, and that all teaches you things that makes you an interesting person, no matter how well you do them." And honestly, that changed my life, because I went from a failure, someone who hadn't been talented enough at anything to excel, to someone who did things because I enjoyed them. I had been raised in such an achievement-oriented environment, so inundated with the myth of talent, that I thought it was only worth doing if you could win at them. And Kurt Vonnegut has also spoken about, this is how you build your soul. So while while I transition over, so I can start continuing to build my soul, because boy, is that thing under construction. I'm going to leave you also with this. And did I forget to? Oh, rats! I forgot to do it. Never mind. You know what? I'll just do a little plug, and we'll just I'll transition over. And where the heck is my shit? Here it is. I'll be right back.
It is difficult to write these words, but I must for my own sake. I have done, seen, and been part of many things in my life.
Okay, there we go. Yes, we're fixing that right now, Patrick. We're fixing this right now. So Okay, so there we go. So for everybody who's like wondering, it's like, when is she gonna stop talking? Okay, I'm starting. All right, I'm working. You know, which goes to show you, that no matter what happens, this is where the magic really happens. You know, um, that no matter what, it's like I made a joke on someone's on someone's Facebook page, that it's like when artist alleys are filled with AI printmongers, the people who are going to get all the attention are the people who are just doodling in sketchbooks. Because in the end, that is still going to be more impressive to people than typing in keywords. So, okay. So, all right. So like I said, here's the page that I'm working on. As usual, I am using a rapidograph. These are architecture technical pens that like I said, I don't recommend for people to learn how to use, but if you're feeling adventurous, you can try to use anyway. Because they're very messy and not very reliable, but this is what I learned. I pretty much learned how to do this on, but you know, so so that's you know, so yeah, also if it's one thing that I got to if it's one thing that I got out of a lot of the stupidity of a lot of this discourse, like I said, way too many people showing their asses online as to how much they love art but hate artists. But at the same time, I really do think they hate art too. You know, but kudos to the guy who tried to compare using AI to a Roomba replacing a housekeeper, because it made me remember that I had a Roomba to fix, that I had to fix it and put it somewhere where I actually remember to use it. So so the stupid thing about that comment though is that, which made me laugh, because it really does show me how much people really, really misunderstand just any technological advance at all. Because so yes, I have well, it's a knockoff Roomba, you know, but it does the work just the same. No, that is not what we're saying, Patrick. That is not what we're saying. You know, so I remember like looking up trying to find some reviews or something about the type of Roomba, that the Roomba thing that I have, the robotic vacuum. Let's just call it that, the robotic vacuum. And you would be amazed. You know how people how the one thing you learn from Amazon is that nobody knows how to do goddamn reviews. That it's like, no matter what item you look up on Amazon, it's like nobody knows what a review is, what a review entails. They're always complaining about something that has nothing to do, like, oh, the packaging, the Amazon packaging was damaged, so I'm giving this product 1 star. Like one has nothing to do with the other, you know? So when I was looking up these I guess it's like I was trying to find reviews or instructions. I don't remember what exactly of how to use this, how to program the robotic vacuum or whatnot. Yes, Patrick, the floor sucky. Oh no, Jake, the floor sucky. Yes. Do they really call it that? Oh my god. It's a robotic vacuum. Let's not get all weird with it, you know? You know, so so I'm looking up these reviews and oh my god, the amount of people who were tight over the fact that the robotic vacuum doesn't clean everything. You know, it doesn't get in the corners. It doesn't pick up everything. It misses spots. It doesn't clean the toilet. It doesn't clean the bath. It's like it doesn't do windows. It's like I mean, it just I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating, but the thing is though, it's like they really were complaining how it's like, oh, it doesn't clean enough. You know, it's like everything, it's like, oh, it missed a spot and it didn't do this, it didn't do that, and I still had to monitor it. And it's like, you know, I had to show it where the base was, and it kept, you know, and it's like, and it missed all these Cheerios that I purposefully dropped on the floor to prove a point, which is what they did. um and I'm like going, holy crap, you nasty ass people. The vacuum is just for maintenance. You still have to clean your goddamn house. You know, I mean, it's like these people were literally blaming this Roomba or this vacuum or whatever for for doing things that you have to do on your own. Yeah, you have to get on your hands and knees and get in the corners if that's important to you. The robot is physically not built for that type of detailed cleaning. You know, if you're going to purposefully throw shit on the floor, yeah, it's not going to pick everything up. You know, and it was just like absolutely amazing in a horrifying kind of way, where these people literally thought they could replace their housekeeper with this thing. And it's like, oh my God, that's not how that works. And, you know, I really do think that there's a lot of people who think that an app is going to do the same thing, where it's like, where I really do think that they're going to learn the hard way that oh, I still need an artist. You know, where it's like, because here's the thing. I mean, it's like if everybody is pumping out the same type of artwork, right? It's like your project is going to be just as buried as if as if you did nothing. And they're going to realize that it's like, oh, they're going to start getting mad at the AI. It's like, no, you were supposed to replace artists. You were supposed to be better than artists. I mean, this is my fanciful thinking. You know, it's like, I would like to think that that's what's going to happen. You know, that it's like after enough projects are flooding the market, and and people realize that the artwork doesn't mean anything, that it's like, no, people are not going to just like the novelty of an AI comic is going to be fleeting. I really do believe that. And these people who are pretty much betting the farm on this technology, they're going to be even more mad at the idea that they can't completely get rid of us. Because you see, because in the end, it's like what they're jealous of is what we've worked for, and they want what we worked for, but they don't want to work for it. And it's you're at a convention, you're sketching in public, you're at a coffee shop, you're at the museum sketching, no matter what, right? You're always going to get everybody, all of us, we all know this person. Oh, I wish I could draw. Right? I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, We all know this person. We've all met them way too many times, right? Here's the kicker. No, you don't. No, you don't wish you could draw. No, you don't. Because you know how I know? Because you're not drawing. If you're not drawing, you're not an artist. You're not creating. If you're not, like, even if, that's like say, oh, I wish I could learn, I wish I could play the piano. It's like, dick, you can. It's like you can learn to play the piano. It's like it, but the fact that you don't, that's a choice. Because it's like, in the end, what you're telling me is that what you really want is not to draw, but to get where I'm at right now without working. I want to be a CEO, but I just want to show up. I want to have a successful podcast, but I just want to sit here. It's like, that's how you guys, that's how these people sound. You guys, I'm not talking, no, not you, but that's how these people sound. Yeah, that's like, I wish I could draw. No, you don't, because you'd be doing it. Right. Yeah, exactly. You're too busy. You'd rather be playing video games. you know you'd rather be doing everything else but studying the blade, right? Well, you were too busy fucking around. See, that's the thing with that's the thing with all these people. While they were too busy fucking around, we were studying the blade, right? And that's the part that they don't want. And they think this is their shortcut. And I think that after the whole novelty wears off, because if everybody's doing it, who cares, right? If everyone's special, no one is. you know um Once that novelty wears off, what's going to happen? They're still going to be mad at us. They're still going to be mad at artists for being artists, because it's like, hey, I can get my commissions done if my power goes off and I lose internet connection. I can still get my work done. I can be not online right now and still be working. You know? That's the part that they hate, that no matter what, we're still going to have something over them. You know? It's like, I just find it funny how it's like, and then it's like, okay, everybody out there who is trying to use this as a cover for, who's trying to use ableism as a cover for their excuses, you guys can go fuck yourselves. I mean, for real. I mean, absolutely. Because trust me, if you're fucking yourself, it means you're not bothering with the AI because you're busy doing something else. Because I have seen way too many people try to use the whole thing that if you're criticizing AI, you're ableist because it's the only access to art that disabled people have. And I go, are you fucking retarded? Although probably I shouldn't be saying that. Probably shouldn't be saying that. Oops. Okay. All right. Yeah, I shouldn't be saying that. Are you unwell? Are you unwell? It's like, yeah, that really is a word I should be taking out of my vocabulary. It really is. But but the thing is though, it's like, really, it's like, but I mean, but in the end though, between the two of us, which is more offensive? It's like someone trying to use disabled bodies as a shield for their laziness, for their lack of curiosity, for their lack of ability for their lack of want to actually work for something. I mean, and you know, you know, I mean, it's I really can't stand. I really cannot believe the chutzpah of that. You know, where it's like, really, it's like you really truly believe that for some bizarre reason disabled people have no access, that there are no artists who are disabled. You know, I mean, one person actually tried. I mean, honestly, those are probably going to be the people who are going to feel this really hard, you know, because it's like, it's hard enough getting commercial work, you know, as an able-bodied artist, you know, and mind you, and remember that it's like, yes, this is going to devastate commercial art because they're the largest employer of artists, and it's hard enough to it's hard enough to get that work as an able-bodied person. Do you think they're going to make concessions for somebody who's not able-bodied? You know, but you're going to use that as, it's like there was this person literally saying that they have a brain condition that right, you know, and we saw you for 2 episodes doing, not having a problem doing artwork. So, you know, yeah, I mean, it's like probably the most difficult thing is the getting the right camera angles, you know. You know, there was this one person who literally says that they have to use AI because they have a brain condition that keeps them from drawing. And I go, what a coincidence. I have a physical condition that keeps me from playing professional basketball. That's amazing. It's amazing we're able to function, you know? And it's like, uh, it, it's like, yeah, wasn't there a movie about a guy who painted with his feet? You know, you know, isn't there a movie coming out about, about that artist, about the cats? He was a schizophrenic, although the whole thing about how his paintings followed his schizophrenia is fake. That's actually fake. It was actually just somebody exploiting the guy and making this narrative with his paintings that didn't exist. But that's besides the point, though. I mean, it's like he did have schizophrenia, but he still painted, you know? Um, and it's, and it's just like, right, exactly, like, especially with that outsider art, that's kind of like, you know, outsider art, underground art, it's like, there's an entire art community, an entire art, what's, like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know? It's like the stuff that people are saying, it's like, god damn, you're like the art versions of crypto weirdos, you know? It's like they really do. I kind of wonder if it's the same people, to tell you the truth. You know, they got, they got completely hosed on NFTs and crypto, so now they're moving on to this. I mean, I don't know. Um, all I can say is just stop caping for billionaires. God, that's so fucking weird. You know, it's like, oh my goodness. But eh, yeah, but it's like just the weird arguments, you know. Um right, and usually, and you see, the funniest thing was that one of the people using that excuse, that it's like, oh, I have a brain condition that I can't visualize, and then they were talking about how they were using AI to make fanfic, and I'm kind of thinking, not to disparage fanfic, but I kind of think the imagination problem is not is not a defect. You know, um it's, it's, I don't know, but also the thing is too is that I think that even, it's what is it? It's like so many thoughts that I'm trying to save because Jake is talking about outsider art, right? Which kind of lends into my whole like how what we're actually seeing is a form of fascism, But again, I want to save that for House of Bob because we're going to talk about AI art is fascism and why the fuck can't I get good reference to draw dicks? Why can't I find that? We're going to be talking about that on House of Bob. We're definitely going to save that conversation for House of Bob. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, there's just like so much. And I completely forgot to put my music on, which, to tell you the truth, actually kind of brings me to a conversation me and JD had. Okay, so let me put the music on. Okay. Let me start the music. So let's see. So yesterday, these are all like this is kind of softer music. It's like piano concertos or not this time around. So can you guys hear it? Can you hear it? Is it too low? Is it or you want me to put it up louder? No, it's fine. Okay, good. Like I said, I have Nita in the background monitoring everything for me. Um, so JD's been watching this documentary about Mozart. Um, and it's pretty interesting. It's because what it is that they're talking with I think it's mostly a German documentary, and it intersperses the I wouldn't call it an interview as much as it's actually kind of verbal masturbation about Mozart. Um, it's all these musicians, opera singers, um, just gushing about how brilliant Mozart is. And they're really not adding anything to the conversation. Although what I did find interesting, what I actually found interesting about the documentary is they intersperse the interviews with letters that that Mozart actually I keep it's like Mozart's his last name. Amadeus yeah, it Mozart. We'll just stick to Mozart. Yeah, my brain is all over the place. Where he's, so they interspersed it with readings from his actual letters. To his father, to his patrons, to his wife, it's like just letters all over the place. And how you got, and it was really interesting to hear how you got like kind of like a real sense of Mozart as a person. Because it's like, the movie Amadeus is completely fabricated. It's like the historic part about Mozart is true, but everything else in that movie, it might as well be Lord of the Rings as to how fantastical it is. Because when you actually look up the reality of what but even the guy who did the stage play, who that Milos Forman did based the movie on. Hey, hello, Wolfgang. Yes, I was trying to remember his first name. Thank you. Hey, Joe. um, yeah. So even the person who wrote that, he really wrote it. He wasn't writing a biography of Mozart as he was writing kind of like a cautionary tale. He was writing a fable using Mozart and Salieri as catalysts for this story. But it's not a documentary. There's absolutely, like I said, there's a lot of reality in Mozart in the movie, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is so what was funny about the letters is that the letters actually reinforced the movie a bit in terms of Mozart's characterization, that it's like, yeah, Mozart was kind of a dick, and he was like he loved trolling people with his music, you know, and it's just, really funny. I mean, it's like, the fact that Mozart has an entire concert where it's just like, I think like it's all curse words in Italian or something like that. And like it's about bowel movements. I mean, it's just like, this is, and then it's like, to hear them say, oh, the man was brilliant in this, that, and the other thing, and then that's the piece they come on. It's like, even from the grave, he's trolling everybody. So well, the thing is, so like I said, it was like all these, opera singers and whatnot. And, JD turned to me and he goes, you see all these people, like you see the people playing Mozart's music, and these are very skilled performers, highly trained and whatnot, opera houses, the whole thing, right? But he goes, I can't help but look at them like performing monkeys. Like, and it's like, and it kind of made me stop, and he was like, oh, yeah, because he goes, it's like, yeah, it's like their entire careers are based on the work of a dead man. Like, it just feels very robotic. Even it's like there's no real, like, he goes, where's the passion? Like, where's, like, he goes, I'm not seeing like an actual passion for what they're doing. I'm just seeing very highly trained people performing something that someone else did. And I really had to kind of like stop and think about it, because I actually knew what he was talking about. Because when you really boil it down, that's exactly what they are. I mean, that's their job. They're literally a cover band. These trained performers, they're a cover band. I mean, we're never going to hear what Mozart himself did. So we have to depend on these people to translate his work as accurately as possible for us to really like, okay, this is how it sounded, right? Now, here's the thing though. When it comes to music, written music, all the instructions on how to play the music is right there. How fast, how slow, how long to hold a note. It's like it's all there. So technically, the most skilled of these musicians are the ones that can translate Mozart's work as accurately as possible. But it's not original. And that's, and it's kind of weird to say. Well, that's a good point, Joe. It's like how much of it is the performer's interpretation. Well, here's the funny thing. When people are paying money to hear Mozart, they're paying money to hear Mozart. Maybe there might be some flourishes or whatnot. But the thing is like I said, it's like the most successful performers are the ones who can perform it the most accurately, because it's Mozart they want to hear. Yes, there are more famous performers, and yes, maybe they add. Maybe I'm being unfair with this comparison, now that I kind of think about it, because I don't know much about, I don't know enough about musical performance to see when a performer is adding their own flourish to it. That's the thing. I don't, I would have to have a basis of comparison for that. And I don't have one technically, I mean, it's like, so it's like, so, like the closest, I mean, I don't know, would John Williams play Mozart differently than maybe Bruce Hornsby? I guess, but they're playing Mozart, but they're not playing Mozart in the way that most people want to hear it, you know? So I really do think that that's kind of a thing. Um, so yeah, so it's like, I don't know, it's like, I guess it wasn't as easy of because here's the thing too. There was a statistic that I remember reading. I mean, this was years ago, so I don't know how accurate it still is, but how China is the largest exporter of concert pianists. Um, and the implication of that, right, is that you can be trained to play like Mozart. You can be trained, you can be trained to perform music in a very specific way for a very specific audience en masse. You know? Right. You see, but I think Shakespeare is different because there are no real notes to, like we still don't know what, like there's kind of like theories as to what it might have said. Like, I know that there's a British, of course it would have to be British, right? That there's a theater group in the UK where their whole thing is performing Shakespeare as accurately as possible, like with the accent and the type of English that he used and everything. But in the end, it's still kind of a guess as to, well, it's a very educated guess, you know. You know, I mean, it's like, I guess they're as close to the research as possible. But like I said, it's like, the music, as far as I know, Mozart's music pages still exist, as far as I know, and everything is based on that. And like I said, especially with music, the instructions are very strict as to, if you want to play Mozart the way Mozart meant it, you follow the instructions exactly. Which I think people who are aficionados of Mozart, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear Mozart's passion. They don't want to hear your passion. I kind of compared them to so they had the orchestra and whatnot, and I kind of compared them to those artists who all they know how to do is ultra realistic drawings. We've all seen them. That's another trope, It's like, we've all seen them. Oh, look at how realistic they can do. They're almost like a Xerox machine, blah, 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 right? But they can't do anything else. And in the end, it's like, it's not really the artist's rendition that's important to people viewing it. It's how accurate it is to, I guess, whatever photograph that they copied. So yeah, so it was kind of like a weird conversation, because it's like, I mean, it's like, because that's the thing. It's like, so, because it's like, on one hand, you know, it's like, we were talking about outhuman. How do you outhuman the, the AI, right? You have to outhuman the AI, right? But here we were watching this footage of these concert pianists who didn't feel human. They're playing Mozart. They're doing all the affected, and which I told Jose, it's like, that's the reason why they do that bullshit. It's like, they're like, oh my God, it's like, we're feeling no, you're not. You're performing for the audience because that's all you have. That they come out, that they're insufferable douches, it's like that whole shit, you know, um, that's the act, you know, um, I mean, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's like, so it's just really funny that it's like, here they're playing the most kind of like some of the most passionate music you could listen to in the most unpassionate manner. Like, it might as well have been a job for them. And it's weird, you know? Um, you know, um, it's like, so it's like, you know, uh, it's just, yeah, right. You got it? You got it? Okay. All right. Um, so it was just yeah, it was just, so it was like kind of like a weird conversation, because it's like they're so highly trained that they don't seem human. Hello. So yeah, I don't know, I don't know, it was kind of, so I think in the end I ended up, we kind of like were having a conversation about the opposite point. About about creating and whatnot, and you see, and that's the thing too, because it's like, you know like, I don't know these people, like, maybe they do write their own music on the side and whatnot, it's just that playing Mozart is what they do as a job. you know do they really have a passion for Mozart? I don't know. They seem to have. I mean, granted, probably in too much of an academic sense, um because that's what they really came off as to me. um that when they're talking about Mozart, it just seemed more academic than anything else. um so it's like, okay. So yeah, so that was just like kind of like a weird, yeah, so it's kind of a weird documentary. I think, I don't know where he was watching it. um I wasn't paying attention as to where. um but that was kind of the weird thing too, about thinking about really highly trained illustrators who could do like ultra realistic portraits and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, can you be so highly trained that you actually forget that you're a person doing this, that it's not just a job? Um, you know, You know, that you can train yourself out of your humanity, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange. Very strange. Um did you Allison, did you see there's another documentary that's pretty good though. This was pretty fascinating. And here's the thing too. I think that this is kind of uh related. It's called Tim's Vermeer, right? So it's about the guy who created Maya, right? Or was it Lightwave? One of the I think he might have created both actually. So the guy has money. So what he did was that he became obsessed with figuring out what did Vermeer do in order to create the paintings that he did that were so different to his contemporaries at at the time. And what he could figure out in terms of research, like this is a question that I guess that has been researched and whatnot, and from his own research, um he ran on the theory that Vermeer used um a type of camera obscura to do his paintings, because the thing that fascinated him especially was Vermeer's usage of light that nobody else was using at the time. And what he set out to do was not only to follow this theory, which he was able to kind of like play around with the idea of using a mirror and I guess like painting a photo based on like the mirror overlapped, and it was kind of like tracing with paint, and he was determined to prove that Vermeer may have used something like this for his paintings. And the way he went about doing that was by building the environment and the camera obscura contraption and repainting one of Vermeer's paintings. I forgot what it was called. I think it was the piano lesson, by repainting a Vermeer, and showing that he could that he could do that it's like, that it's like I can, and it was pretty interesting because it was I think it took him about like 2 years to do it, because he was talking about building a set. He had to build the set, because the idea is that that's what Vermeer did, that he had everything set up. He had the models and whatnot, and then using the camera obscura, which reflected onto his canvas or something, and then he was able to paint accurately what he saw, in the setup. And and it's like he even went, but here's the thing though, it's like, yeah, he was like, he even got special permission from Queen Elizabeth, because she owns the painting and it's not public. So he had to get a special invitation from Queen Elizabeth to actually see the painting in person, so that he could study the brushstrokes to kind of figure out what, it's like he didn't just like trace a Vermeer and say, okay, this is it. This is how he did it. Oh, I painted a Vermeer. I mean, this guy was like, no, it's like it had to be more than that. It had to be more than the camera obscura. It had to be more than this. And yeah, and it's like, spoiler, he painted a Vermeer, because, and he's even more convinced now that this is probably how the painting was done, because there was a flaw in the painting that unless you knew what you were looking at, you would have never have guessed, you never have known, it's like the average person, not even, but not even an artist, if they didn't know, would know that this was a flaw. And what it is that he found a distortion in the original painting that could only be caused by the image being reflected onto a surface. There was a slight curve in a pattern. I think it was on the piano. And by accident, he recreated that flaw. And it was just like, and it was just like an epiphany for him that it's like, holy crap. I mean, did he really do this? And and it was just like really fascinating. But here's the funny thing, right? So when he used his process as a way of adding to, the discourse around this, he was there was complete pushback from academic circles on this. No way Vermeer used a camera obscura. No way. It's like, absolutely not. Vermeer was a rare talent. He was just able to do this. It's like there was no way that he would, use this type of cheating. Are you saying Vermeer cheated? And I think he only found like one scholar who actually was able to work with, who was like, yeah, let's run with this, hypothesis, But here's the thing, though. So every time, so everyone would look at this contraption, go, oh, that's cheating. Vermeer would have never done that. He's a real artist and blah, 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 right? But here's the funny thing, though. The contraption was the only thing that he didn't do that I wish that he did, right, was I was curious as to how accurate this contraption was. If a person who is not familiar with painting at all, because the thing is, though, this guy, even though he's an artist in his own, as from what I remember, like, he's an artist in his own right. Like, he didn't just decide to pick up painting to do a Vermeer. We're all working, sideburns, we're all working together. That's good. So, you get to work too. So it's not like, he didn't know what to do. He was just, it's like, no, it's like, he was an artist, so he was familiar with this. My question was whether the camera obscura contraption would have allowed someone who's not an artist to paint a Vermeer. You see, and I think that that's different. I really do. And of course, there's going to be, dicks going, oh, but it's like, but that's okay, but AI isn't, well, here's the thing. You still need to sit down and paint. It's like, even if you're using a camera obscura, you still have to learn how to use it. You're being physical, with the paint, with how to hold the paintbrush. It's like, and there's going to come a point where you're going to, I would think that you're going to come a point where it's like, oh, it's like, even though I'm tracing, I'm not really getting what's on the paper. And we've seen this, right? We've seen the kids who don't know how to draw trace, right? And even their tracing betrays the fact that they don't know how to draw. Like, they're tracing, but there's something about how they move the pencil and how they, they press too hard. The whole thing, right? We've all seen them. How it's like, yeah, you're tracing. This is a trace. There's something about your lines that betray you. And then it's like, but the thing is that the idea is that they take that tracing and then they build on top of that. They take the camera obscura and it's like, well, I'm tracing a Vermeer, but I don't know what I'm doing. And then what makes them an artist is when they start studying how to make those paintbrush, how to make the paintbrush work the way they need it to, how to make the paint, move the way they need it to. Yeah, they're using a camera obscura, but what happens afterwards? That's where the artist separates from the average person. Because it's like, would the average person spend 2 years just to say they painted a Vermeer? Most people won't even last 10 minutes. That's why this AI thing is, it's the instant dopamine hit to them. Because it's like, oh, they type in a keyword, poof, and that's it. Oh, I created this. No, you typed in a keyword. What's funny, I learned a new phrase today. Prompt engineer. And I swear to God, it's like, if they weren't offensive to artists now, they're definitely offensive to engineers. Just for that shit. It's like, oh, typing keywords in Google makes you an engineer now. Oh, but my point is that, so everyone would argue about how the camera obscura was cheating, right? Meanwhile, I'm watching this documentary, and I'm like going, holy shit, that's a great tool. It's like, it's like, that's a really awesome tool. And it's like, we've all had variations of that tool, right? Remember the little toy with the mirror on it, and you would put the image and then it would reflect it, and you would like honestly, it's like, come on. It's like, that's a really, it's like, yeah, that's an old school tool. Now it's like, I print stuff out and I put it on a light box, and I trace it, try to figure it out and whatnot. Oh, and here's the thing too. There's nothing wrong with tracing. I think that there's it's the whole thing with using reference or whatnot. There's this ridiculous idea that that's all cheating and you're not a real artist if you do that. But the thing is, though, it's like, look, it's like, it depends on how you use it. If you're going to trace something, if you're going to trace something and you're going to pass it off as your own, yeah, you're being shitty about that. But if you're going to trace something because you're trying to figure something out, which is what I do all the time. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how, it's like usually I use it for like backgrounds, like architecture or something. It's like, okay, what's going on here? I don't understand. I'm looking at a photo. I don't understand what I'm looking at. Print it out, tracing, put it on the light box. Okay, what's going on? Oh, okay. All right. I see, and and then it's like, you kind of you build from there. Because here's the trick though. Here's the thing. Never trace buildings. Never trace buildings, because the camera flattens the perspective. So you still need to be able to know how to adjust the tracing so that it looks correct. Because the camera, yeah, it's like, it's kind of weird how it's like, you can follow all the lines directly, exactly the way it is in the photo, and then you're like going, why does it still look wrong? I traced it. How does it look wrong? And it's like, right, because the camera is messing you up. You still have to know what you're looking at, which is the whole training stuff. It's like, are you willing to train yourself? Are you willing to learn these things? And it's just and it's like, yeah, it's just funny, how it's like, like these academics are, oh, it's like, this is cheating, and it's like, no, it's not. It's like you're obviously not artists, which it's like, it's like, well, tracing breaks composition. Well, it's like I said, you have to know what you're looking at for the tracing to work. Yeah, and it's like, and here's the thing too, what you're also creating too by tracing is you're creating muscle memory. You're creating that mental, yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, it's like you're using that, you're you're filling, you're help filling your memory of this, so that there's going to come a point where you don't need to trace, where it's like, okay, I'm familiar enough with how buildings work, so now I could just do this myself, you know. um so um so yeah, so it was just like really funny, because it's like, all these academics were saying, oh, that's a cheat, and it's like, obviously you don't know any artists. you know which also dovetails into the not related conversation about how many academics in art are not artists themselves, um which goes into an entirely wonderful series of documentaries about art forgery. I mean, it's like, if there are documentaries that are fun as hell to watch, is watch any documentary about art forgery. um One, there's something absolutely funny with swindling people with more money than sense. um it's like, look, I'm not crying over billionaires, fuck them, I'm not crying over them, so more art forgeries. um the only thing, though, is that you watch enough of these documentaries and you kind of wonder how full to the brim actual museums are, full of forgeries. um because a lot of these forgeries, they really, because there was one guy in particular, the one documentary in particular, where it was just this guy who, he made forgeries of everything, but what he did was that he would donate it to local museums. He would donate it to them to museums. And what he would, and the thing is, what he was doing, because he hated the fact that museums were run by people who weren't artists. Like, they all had like art degrees in theory, but none of them were artists. So he decided to make it his mission to create these forgeries and donate them to museums to prove that these people had no idea what they were looking at. And the fact that a lot of his forgeries would actually make it through the process and be put on in collections. I mean, it was the ultimate troll. I mean, really, it was just like, he was like going, it's like he literally he showed how he did a Picasso on Xerox paper, that he forged a Picasso on Xerox paper, and it actually got through the museum's process. It ended up in their collection, or something. And it's like, he's like, oh yeah, and he goes, oh yeah, the original is made with charcoal, but I'm just going to use colored pencils because they don't know what they're looking at anyway. They don't know the difference. And it's just absolutely hysterical. And the funny thing is that, of course, once they found out that he had flooded them with forgeries that they were putting on display, they were trying to go after him, that what he did was illegal, and stuff like that. And the thing is, though, is that even the FBI went to them and said that there's nothing we can do. He gave you these pieces for free. He didn't make money on anything. So it's technically, what he did is technically not illegal. It's not like if he had sold the pieces, then yes, because technically the forgery is in the signatures, not in the actual artwork. That's another documentary, Beltraki. That's another documentary. you know, um, that man went out of his way to make millions on forgery. So different motivation there. But it was just really funny. Just yeah, and it's like, yeah, that he was just completely trolling these museums. And there was nothing they could do about it because the FBI also told him, it's like, look, you're the museum. You're the ones who have the ability to, you know, to tell whether these pieces are forgeries or not. That's on you. You know, the fact that you're saying that these are real when they're not, that's actually a you problem, not a him problem. He just donated the pieces to you, right? Um, well, yeah, because that's the thing. That's theory. I guess theory is easy. I mean, it's like, because that was also the thing with the Mozart documentary. A lot of theory, a lot of conjecture, a lot of theory. You know, um, you know, um, so it's like, which only kind of added to the sterile nature. Yeah, it's like, that's the thing. It's like the very sterile people talking about Mozart's passion. I mean, it's just very weird, you know, and in German. you know. Um, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, you be and right, Jake, and it's like and these you watch enough of these documentaries, and you're wondering who the heck is driving at these museums, because it's like Beltraki especially. Like, I wasn't Beltraki, or there was another art forger where he says that he sold thousands, that he has thousands of paintings in museums, thousands. And he says that, and in private collections, and he says that he doesn't dare say which ones there are, because he says, I've sold these forgeries to very wealthy people who will become very dangerous if I say. If he admits which paintings, I mean, it's like, really, it's like he's talking about, if I admit to which paintings are mine, I I am going to die. I will be murderized in the next month. It's I mean, it's like, I mean, but yeah, but it's like, yeah, so it's like, any document, I have yet to watch a documentary about art forgery that wasn't insane, that wasn't absolutely, just bonkers, you know as to, like, how they get away with it so long, and just like, and honestly, the reason why they get away with it so long is that once you break into that entire process, where your forgery is now um has been listed as real, how too many people will bend over backwards to protect that, because if they admit that they let that they didn't do their due diligence enough to find the forgery, that it puts all their expertise in question. So they literally protect it. He says that the reason why he got away with it for so long was because too many people are invested in protecting it, because too many people have their reputations riding on this due process that they claim that they're experts in. And it's just really, really funny. It's just really funny. um it's kind of like everyone's their own worst enemy, you know but not for nothing, though. When the shit hits the fan, the only people that goes to prison is the actual artist, not the people who, like, sold the artwork as real, not really the people who said that it was real. You know, I mean, it's like it just goes to show you that money really does protect you from things. It really does protect you from a lot of things. You know, um, and yeah, it's like I said, it's just I've never seen one of these documentaries that wasn't bonkers. Yeah. I mean, honestly, AI wish it could be this interesting. I mean, really, it's like no one is ever going to make a movie about an AI art caper. I mean, it's like, could you imagine what half the what no one, no, nobody. It's like, it's just yeah. In the end, actual artists will survive. The problem is that we live in a capitalist hellscape that look, it never valued what we did. If we're talking about the entirety, it's like, yeah, you're going to have companies, more creative companies, who know the value of art done by humans. They're going to know the value of that. Companies like Condé Nast are not going to. Like Hearst, they're not going to. Because it's like, yeah, the point that I want to make there, house above. So, but yeah, ain't nobody going to make a documentary about a prompt engineer. Give me a break. ain't no Ocean's 11 with someone's prompt keywords. That's not going to happen. I mean, and the thing is that it's like, look, Joe, it's like, and especially, it's like there's no comparison to seeing the actual thing. We spoke about it more in detail. We spoke about it last Wednesday. It's like, you know what? It's like, yeah, it's like, look, you can see copy after copy and photograph after photograph. Look, not even photographs, can really show you what you're missing when you're not in front of it. I mean, it's like me and Jose were talking about, it's like, you know what, we really need to go to a museum before Christmas, because I want to see the Metropolitan Museum with the Christmas tree up. And there's a Guillermo del Toro exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art. We're probably going to go see that one first, because of the whole Pinocchio thing. So he has an exhibit there. So we're probably going to go see that. So I can go visit Starry Night while I am there. And Francis Bacon. So, and Alexander Calder. I always a fan of Alexander Calder's mobiles. Always, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I know. It's like, when we finally go, I'll definitely talk about it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, to us going there to see yeah, because it's I think it's more about Pinocchio than it is a general Guillermo exhibit, because I know that I don't remember if it was last year where he had a traveling exhibit from Bleak House, where it was a lot of his major pieces from his collection at Bleak House, which is his art collection. He literally has a house just for his art collection, because his wife said it has to go someplace else. You have too much shit. So he bought a second house that he turned into, I guess, like a private museum for himself. And he took some choice pieces on tour, but it never came to New York. I think it stayed mostly on the West Coast and Mexico. And yeah, but it never came to New York. So this is probably the closest we'll get to seeing a Guillermo exhibit right now. So yeah, so we're just hitting the top of the second hour. Um, so yeah, so there we have it. So here's what I have so far. Um, right, yeah, and I'm it's like actually it's like here there's actually a train station that was designed that has artwork designed directly by Roy Lichtenstein in the system. I forgot which station it was. But yeah, but he has an installation there, a permanent installation there. Like he designed the tile work for this particular station. Um, you know, so so that was so yeah, I haven't been to MoMA in a while, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So like I said, so here it is, the work that I've been able to do so far. I've been pretty happy. I finally got like everything that I needed to penciled, so now it's like I could just sit down and ink and get all my commissions and my short stories and whatnot. And the last of these pages, just ink through them. So I'm really happy with that. I do have a couple of things also. Also, it's like I guess like so. Let me just shut the music off and yeah, because there's something that I wanted to mention to everybody um before oh there we go, so before I left. So here's the thing. So speaking of House of Bob, right, which if you want to see the rest of the if you want to get I guess kind of like the more sensational side of this conversation about AI, I will be discussing that on House of Bob on the 31st of December, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you don't know, House of Bob is an adults only live stream that me and Nita, do once a month, like I said, where I do adult artwork and we both have more adult oriented conversations that you're all more than happy to join in on, as long as you click the I am over 18 button to get into it. So join us on the 31st. Start your new, it's like, or end your year with some furry porn with us and some bitching about AI. On House of Bob, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern on the 31st. And this is the thing too, if you did not watch our last show, Nita had explained that we are launching a sister channel to the Indie Comics Network. It's going to be called Indie Comics Network After Dark. And what we are planning on doing with that channel is that we are going to be doing more adult oriented content on that channel. We're going to be moving House of Bob to that channel. And yeah, and it's like, so for everybody, so that way mom can stop seeing prompts for House of Bob on her 4K TV. So we're going to be moving all of that to the Indie Comics Network After Dark. Let's see. I guess it would help if I put a link. So after this is done, I will put a link in the show notes below, so that you can go and subscribe. Nita just said that House of Bob is now on that channel. So if you want to watch the replays, I highly suggest the Sex and Comics episode. Everybody seems to be loving it. I'm very proud of that episode. We had a fun time there. I got to show off all of my old porno comics that I used to work on back in the day. So you can check that out. So we're going to be begin streaming to that channel. So if you want to catch House of Bob, make sure you are subscribed to Indie Comics Network After Dark. Yeah, so that's pretty much it right now. Like I said, I'm really, yeah, it's like I'm really what am I really? I don't know. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. It's like, you know what? It's like it's been, a busy 2 hours. I think we had a really good conversation. Thank you everybody for being in the chat. Um yeah, let me just put the oh, I keep forgetting how to do this. Here we go. And here we go. So here we have it. End of another live stream. Like I said, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank, Allison. I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Jake. I want to thank John Celestri. Absolutely, it's like Jay Solano, Sideburns, um, Patrick, as always the regular. We're not going to thank the bot. Right? Thank you, Jay Reed Art. It's like, if I missed anybody, I apologize. Larry. And thank you so much. Did I accidentally? Oh, hide comment. There we go. Accidentally clicked on it. Thank you so much, especially to our special guest, Kevin John, for dropping in. Like I said, I cannot be more honored to have you just spend a little time with my chat, with my lovely chat, and with me on my live stream. Thank you so much. I just want to say that moment with you at Walt Disney World, where you signed my autograph book with your little, it was the first time you did your little Lucas signature, the little TIE fighter. It's like that whole moment meant a lot to me. And I'm really glad that you liked the piece that I did for you. And I am glad and I'm very happy that we could, kind of share, this whole thing that we're doing. And yes, and definitely stay weird, bro. Stay weird. So yeah, so that's, so that's my that's my moment right now. Let me just bask in that for a little bit. So yeah, so again, thank you so much for joining me. And I guess might as well get to the we're at the end. And yes, and thank you to the 12 people who have stayed with me till the end, who are watching me from regions beyond, and that big eyeball on my StreamYard. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope we were all able to work together, and just like have a good conversation, and just get stuff done, whatever it is you needed to be done, get done or whatnot. I hope you had a good time. So if you hold on, let me just fix this. Oh, there we go. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and why I'm like this, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates. And remember that you can also check me out on YouTube on both my channel at Daphne Lage Art, that's Lage, and the Indie Comics Network for videos and mostly, weekly live streams like this one here. I'd like to thank everybody watching me on Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank whoever's watching me on my website. I'm glad the code works so that I can actually stream to my website. So thank you if you're watching me from there as well. So thank you again. We'll see you, me and Nita, we'll see you again on Friday at 11 a.m. Where, I don't know, I'll find something to talk about, or either that or you guys can find me something to talk about. We did 2 episodes where it was kind of chat's choice as to what the topic's going to be, and those were pretty fun. So I don't know, we might do it again. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want us to talk about something specific, join us at 11 a.m. on Friday in the chat, and pop your question, and we'll talk about it. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I still got a lot to do. But hey, but you know what? Thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, um, and yeah, and that's it. So I hope you're getting your work done, all your artwork done, and yeah, and you know what? No matter what happens, art is always us as art, us doing art and us being artists. And mind you, any creative thing that we do, it's going to survive Skynet. I mean, no matter what, Skynet has no chance. Has no chance. We were there when fire was born. It's like it's not taking us out that easily. So, thank you again, and I will see you guys later.
You're a beautiful God. He destroyed his own beloved rather than let a mediocrity share in the smallest part of his glory. He killed Mozart and kept me alive to torture. 32 years of torture, 32 years of slowly watching myself become extinct. My music growing fainter, all the time fainter, till no one plays it at all. His.
Good morning, Professor. Time for the water closet. And then we have your favorite breakfast for you. Sugar rolls. You love those. Fresh sugar rolls.
I will speak for you, Father. I speak for all mediocrities in the world. I am their champion. I am their patron saint.